So it's May 30th today. You multiply that by 2, this thing will turn on, and you can see that we're 60 days into growing. So these are the crackies here, and they are doing remarkably better now, thankfully. They were struggling a bit for a few weeks, and it turns out that that was actually because of the growth lights I was using. So I bought some new ones off Amazon. These are full spectrum, and they're actually doing pretty well. I've got the previous growth lights up there in the closet of shame. They are under that giant red tarp that you see there. They just weren't doing terribly well, and I found out later on that, yeah, these guys were just severely sun-starved and just weren't really taking the purple well. So now that's been fixed, and they actually seem to be quite happy. Now I am looking to address some of the clutter stuff that's going on here. You can see that it's about 10 times worse than when I first decided to transfer these out, so I think some action needs to be taken. And to that effect, my plan is I'm going to take 4 of the healthiest plants here and then stick them into these 5-gallon jars. I've got some space freed up over there where I'm going to take the crack keys and move them to, and then I'm going to buy a second set of these lights. I think they arrive on the 1st, I want to say. And then I'm going to stick them over there. And so I'll just have like a separate little section for crack keys and then throw these 5-gallon plants over here. And then as for the remaining ones that are in this, I do have like a little mod tray to this specific unit here that I can put in that holds bigger plants. And so I'm thinking I'll just take out the remaining healthy 2 and then just have them grow out of this. And then the remaining pods that like aren't doing terribly well, I'm probably either going to donate to people or just chuck away, which, you know, is kind of sad to think about, but it's a lesson at the very least that I shouldn't have used all my seeds at once. And, you know, going forward, I do know better. So this whole thing is just about lessons, really, and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. And so if nothing else, I'm glad that I learned that lesson, and I'm glad that it's not terribly expensive of one. Because, like, losing a couple of seeds isn't a big deal, because these things are eventually going to give me fruit where I can just get more seeds. So I can't really complain too much, but, you know, at least I know better, and I think going forward, if I were to try this again, I'd probably set aside a more dedicated space for these to grow, because I didn't really expect them to get as big and as out of control as they did. So maybe that's something later on down the line if I get a different place. Maybe I make like a dedicated greenhouse type thing, but at least in this current moment, I think I've got it under control, and I think over the coming weeks, I should settle into a little more permanent long-term solution. So I'm very excited for that.